at least CNBC is reporting on the price of silver these days. It's triple digits. They have a triple digit silver in our future, like soon. What do you guys think? I'm curious where it's going to go, and I've been stacking this stuff for a long time, so I don't know. There's an article in CNBC titled "Triple Digit Silver: Investors Weigh In on What's Next After the Sleeping Beauty Metals 115% rally." So it's gone up 115% in a year. That's noteworthy. I mean, that's newsworthy, but it seems like I'm not seeing anything on the news about it. I don't really watch the mainstream media that much, but I do check in with CNBC. And silver spot touched a record high of more than $62 an ounce yesterday, which was Wednesday. I'm not sure what day this is getting released. I think it's getting released Friday. Somebody sent me a message. Oh, it's my brother's birthday. I gotta remember to tell him happy birthday. But what was I saying? I was reading the article. Market watchers told CNBC the metal's dual identity is both an industrial component and a store of value were driving demand. And I think investor demand is driving it. A lot of people will say that it's industrial demand. And one thing I will point out on Fish's video, he did, I think it was yesterday, that people say that there's, I got to turn this off, holy cow. He was saying that there's people that, repeat the silver hype dudes that repeat the old mantra like airplane mode. Not like airplane mode, but they always say like, oh, there's 500 ounces of silver in a Tomahawk missile. No, there isn't. There might be 1 ounce in a Tomahawk missile, but the 500 ounces in a Tomahawk missile, this just kind of nonsensical. Because to actually know literally how much silver's in a Tomahawk missile, you would have to have access to the TDP, which is a technical data package put out by the Department of Defense. That's actually basically, in layman's terms, it's a recipe on how to build a Tomahawk missile. You and I can't look at that. So we don't know how much silver's in a Tomahawk missile, but I'm pretty darn sure it's closer to 1 ounce than it is to 500 ounces. Sorry to burst your bubble, Mr. YouTube hype person, whoever does that. But I was curious if it's going to when it's going to get to $100. I feel eventually it would get to $100. I do remember my aunt telling my mother, I repeat this all the time, my aunt in 1980 was telling to my mom, she was like, oh my gosh, silver's going to $400. Well, I'm still waiting. So anyway, the article goes on to say, silver's been on a winning streak this year that's seen the metal more than double in value, smash multiple records, and outperform gold, which that's kind of cool. Normally, I don't know if, I feel like, and I don't have any evidence of this, but I feel like gold usually runs up and then silver follows it. We in the precious metal space always repeat that, but I'm not sure if that's exact. But it seems like maybe the gold run is over and it's time for silver to catch up. We'll see. It goes on to say, since the beginning of the year, the so-called devil's metal has gained... Why do they do that? A couple of you have pointed out in my last video about the media calling it the devil's metal, that it's been called that because of traders that do that. But even, people that have been in the space, like Economic Ninja's like, I'd never heard that before. He even did a story about it. I'm not gonna repeat that anymore. Anyway, let's start over. Since the beginning of the year, the so-called silver has gained 114.6%, with spot silver last seen trading around $61.96 an ounce after touching a record high of $62.88 in Wednesday's session. A day earlier, silver surpassed the $60 an ounce mark for the first time. This is on CNBC. I'm not going to read the whole story. That would be kind of boring. But it's so wild. I never expected silver to be at $61 in 2025. I always think it's going to go up slowly and incrementally, but these massive spikes, and I believe it's investor demand that's driving it, because I feel like if it's industrial demand, I think the economy's kind of in a downtrend, so industrial demand would be waning, I would think. So that would cause the demand to go down. But I think it's being propped up by investor demand. And I think Jeffrey Christian said that on his channel also, the CPM group. I like to watch his channel, not because I like him. He's probably the most hated person in the precious metal space. And I think that's mostly because he goes off on these side rants, just ripping on us, precious metals enthusiasts. But he does rip on mainly the people that are selling precious metals, basically. So the people that have the titles in their video, silver's going to $1 million, buy it now before it's too late. They've got an affiliate link down below for you to buy the precious metals so they make some money. So they have a direct interest in spreading the hype. And I've got a link to First Mint in my description, but that's a discount link. I get nothing if you buy from them, zero. But there's a discount code of VIP WMW that you can use to get a little bit off. And they had a sale $1 over spot, and then you use my discount, you get a little bit more. Anyway, I think that's about it. I'm just curious where silver's going to go. They were saying $100 an ounce by the end of next year. By the end of 2026, $100 an ounce. And at this rate, $100 an ounce could be, next month, the way it's going up so fast. But I do think that silver's going to crash also. That's just my belief. It's ran up before and crashed down. People will say manipulators, stuff like that, but I think it's just investor demand wanes. And I think in Q1 2026, we're going to see a lot of bad news come out about earnings from Q4 that we're in right now. I think they have to report those next quarter. And I think when those results come out, that's going to cause a lot of problems in the stock market. And, I think it potentially will pull silver down as well. People will often say, well, the stock market crashes, silver goes up, but silver goes down also with the market, with the broader market. It's just facts. And I think if people are blowing money on Christmas stuff with their credit card, they got to pay those bills. And, if they got the rent and then these crazy credit card bills, they're going to have to sell some silver. So, I don't know. I just say buy a little bit. If you don't have any, buy 2 ounces and then just dollar cost average. Set a monthly budget every month and stick to it and pay that first. Even before you pay rent or food or bills or anything, pay yourself first. Robert Kiyosaki said that in his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I've always kind of had that mentality. Anyway, I've rambled long enough. I hope you guys are having an awesome day. I got to make one more quick video before I go to the chiropractor. See you tomorrow.